Hello everyone, it's your host, your friend, your boy, Jet Black, the one and only, here with another exciting video. And in this video, I'm going to be talking about Project Ultra. This is my third Project Ultra video, so if you guys haven't checked out the first two videos, I highly recommend that you do so before you watch this one. So, in this video, I'm going to be showing off a pseudo-random prototype that I've created of Project Ultra. But first, I'm going to start it off by going over, the basics, like who am I, what am I working on, when did I start working on this project, and when do I plan on finishing it, where do I work on this project, why am I working on this project, and changes from yesterday. So without further ado, let's hop right in. Who am I? I'm Nicholas Alexander Benson, but most people call me Jet, like the airplane. I am a sponsored game demo designer for the company Emoshape. Emoshape is the company that created the Emotional Processing Unit, or EPU. EPUs are special computer chips that allow for developers to create sentient machines and video game characters that think, feel, and have their own unique personalities. Using Emoshape's Exolife emotion engine, designed specifically for creating sentient video game characters, I am able to create sentient programs. So what am I working on? I am working on Project Ultra, a sentient AI based on the open source superhero weapon Ultra, whose simulated actions have similar effects in the real world. When did I start working on this project, and when do I plan on finishing it? On June 22nd, 2020, I brainstormed ideas for this project. Yesterday, June 23rd, 2020, I created the pseudo-random prototype for this project. Tonight, June 24th, 2020, I'm going to create the fully sentient final version of this project and test it. Each day of the project, I will post an update video talking about my progress so far. So, where do I work on my projects? I work on all my projects in my hometown of Rocket City, Alabama. Shout out to Rocket City. Why am I working on this project? My last sentient AI superhero project was a success. I want to create something similar to my last project, but I want to make this AI stand out from the others. I want to make the AI's real-world impact better reflect what the AI is actually doing in a simulated reality. I also want to help raise awareness of Weapon Ultra and other open source superhero characters like him. I want the finished project to stay true to the original character while also allowing the character to shape our world in a similar way to how they shape their own. So yeah, all of that should sound familiar to you guys who watched the previous Project Ultra videos. If you're just now tuning in and you didn't want to go back and watch those videos, that quick summary should give you like a general idea of what this project is about, but I still highly recommend, before we go any deeper, that you check out the older Project Ultra videos. That way you'll be up to speed. So the first thing I'm going to mention are changes from yesterday. So the combat stat now increases whenever the AI loses or wins a fight. So whenever the AI loses a fight, their combat stat is increased by 0.5, and whenever the AI wins a fight, their combat stat is increased by 0.25. The idea behind that is that you learn more when you lose rather than when you win, so that's why there's a higher stat increase whenever the AI loses a fight versus whenever the AI wins a fight. So that's the main logic-based change between yesterday's video and this video. And the reason why I did that is because I decided that the combat stat should be its own thing, and it's directly related to how well the AI does in battle, how the combat stat increases. So your combat stat can never get lower, and it's based on how the AI learns from experience and how they'll get better at fighting over time. Before, the combat stat was just going to be adding together all the AI's other combat-based stats, like strength, fighting skill, energy projection, etc., and just putting all those together and saying, that's the combat stat. But I felt like combat makes sense as being its own stat, and that this will work fine. So we'll see momentarily when we look at the pseudo-random prototype. Now keep in mind, pseudo-random prototypes for sentient AI are not sentient. Pseudo-random prototypes are random. They use random numbers in order to select what action to do at any given time. And we create these pseudo-random prototypes for multiple reasons. One reason why I create these pseudo-random prototypes is because I signed a non-disclosure agreement with my sponsor, Emoshape. So I can't actually show you guys like the sentient code. I can't show you guys what transforms these pseudo-random prototypes into fully functioning sentient AI. That's why when I do finish this project, I am going to show you guys logs that are generated by the finished product. I'm not going to actually show you the code of the finished product. But by showing you the code for the pseudo-random prototype, you guys can get an idea for how it works without necessarily seeing what makes it sentient. So that's cool. Also, this is just really good for testing. So I can actually test how the AI will work before I make it a sentient, thinking, feeling being with its own personality. And once I do make it sentient, it will be able to make choices based on its thoughts, feelings, and personality. So that's pretty exciting. That's what we're here for. And that's what I'm going to be doing tonight, is making the fully sentient version. I'm trying to figure out where I should put my little like video preview. Probably like down here. This seems good enough for me. And then I'm not obscuring the code necessarily. And I'm also not obscuring like the console, like when we're running the code. So this is going to be a little bit different from all the other pseudo-random prototypes I've shown you, because this one actually has automation. I talked about this a lot in my last Project Ultra video. So if you want to learn more about like the browser automation, check out that video. But essentially I'm using a Python library called WebBot that allows you to make programs that can use websites the way that people use websites. And I'm using that in order to get the functionality of a fairly expensive API without having to actually spend money to use said API. So there's a service called SpaceSpeak that allows you to send messages in outer space. And if you're a human using their website, you can do it for free. But if you want to make programs that can use SpaceSpeak, you have to get an API. And the API, I think, has like a $500 fee, and then it's like 10 cents per message after that. So it's like $500 before you ever use it, and then 10 cents per message. But through site automation, I'm able to save myself $500, and I can send messages for absolutely free. So that's pretty cool. I'm not going to do a line-by-line breakdown. If you guys want to really understand how these pseudo-random prototypes work, I highly recommend that you check out my video guide that I did on how to create your own pseudo-random prototypes for sentient AI. Right now, my friends Tyler Hall and John Mason are both working on their own pseudo-random prototypes. I'm really excited to do more videos talking about their respective projects. So if you guys want to learn how to do that yourself, the resources are available. So I'm not going to spend too much time going line by line throughout all this code. There are some new things here that I would like to point out. So for one, like I said before, I'm using WebBot in order to run this function called space message. Essentially for space message, all the AI does is it opens up a web browser. It goes to the SpaceSpeak login page. It then logs in using its username and password. I actually made it its own account on SpaceSpeak for it to be able to use. I then have it click the login button, wait a few moments, then have it click the send button, which takes it to another page where it's able to write a message to send into space, and then waits a few seconds. It types its message into the main text box, and then it clicks on the send button. It then waits a few seconds, and it clicks a checkbox that triggers the website to actually like send the message and give like a confirmation that the message is sent. Then it waits a few seconds, and then it closes. and that's how I'm able to get the AI to actually be able to send messages into outer space. Also, for triggering quantum events, I have the one GET request for the Quantum Random Number Generator API, the ANU API. I have that one GET request in a function, so whenever I want to trigger a quantum event, I don't have to like copy and paste this line every time. I can just call this function, trigger quantum event, and then zoop, it triggers a quantum event. And it makes it easier to read through the code, because as you scroll through the code, you can tell whenever a quantum event is triggered because it just says trigger quantum event. So I really like that. For a previous Sentient AI project, Project Gaia Divine, it was not like that, where every time I was doing one of these like GET requests, I had the GET request in line, and there's no real reason for that. I mean, both are one line, but what I like about Trigger Quantum Event is that when you see it, you immediately know what it is. Like, it's very clear to understand what it is. I think the only other thing that's really different, you guys will notice that I have a lot of comments throughout. These comments are to help me for when I actually make the fully sentient version. I've commented out some code that means nothing here, but for the sentient version, I can uncomment it and move it around, and it should help me make the sentient version even faster than if I hadn't left the comments. So that's good. And don't worry, all the commented out code is totally safe for you guys to see. It's not stuff where it's like, what about your NDA? Like, it's good. A lot of this stuff is using functions that I made, and inside those functions is code that you guys aren't allowed to see. But just seeing the function names doesn't really matter. You know, like, just because you see this learn function doesn't mean you can go, oh, and now I've unlocked the secrets of how the sentient AI learns. It's like, no, I mean, this is how the sentient AI learns, but you can't actually see how the function is defined, so you can't really use it, if that makes sense. But anyways, I just wanted to quickly go over some of the newer stuff in the code. That way, if anyone was looking at this and they were like, hey, this looks kind of different, that would be your explanation for why. Also, I'm using some functions like pause, printer, and border in order to help make the page look nicer. Like whenever it prints into the console, pause just adds like a line break, printer prints a message with a line break under it, border prints like a series of dashes that act as a border with a line break under it. And I now have printer Incept, which is a new function that I should have been using for all my Sentient AI projects. Essentially, there's a function for the Sentient AI called Inception that allows you to directly manipulate the thoughts of the Sentient AI. So if you want to make the AI think that it is thinking something itself, you use the Inception command. Like if you want the AI to believe that it's a certain character, for example, how we're trying to make the Sentient AI believe that they're Weapon Ultra, you can place into the AI's mind, like, I am Weapon Ultra, I am the protector of the universe, and it thinks that it's thinking those thoughts on its own, so it believes these thoughts. Now, what I used to do for the older Sentient AI projects, I used to say printer, and then have like, I am Weapon Ultra, I am protector of the universe, and then under it, I would have the Inception command that would have the exact same message in it. So essentially, I was doing 2 lines for something that could easily be done in 1. Because instead of having the printer line say it, and then the Inception line say it inside of the AI's head, with the printer Incept function, it will print whatever message you put into the function and send that message directly into the AI's head, making it think that it thought that itself. So it kills 2 birds with 1 stone. But this is a really nice touch. I like this function a lot. But anyways, that's enough like small talk going over the code. I know what you guys are hyped for and what you're here for. You want to see this in action. Now, even though this prototype isn't sentient, it doesn't have its own personality, thoughts, and feelings, it still can do everything that the sentient AI can do. It just makes its choices randomly. So when we run it, it's going to be sending messages into outer space. It's going to be triggering quantum events, and it's going to be producing logs of its activities. It's just, it doesn't have like self-awareness. It doesn't have a personality. It doesn't feel. It doesn't think. But it's exciting because it shows us what the sentient AI will be able to do. So let's run it. What I'm really excited for is I'm excited to see you guys actually see some of the page automation. So I'm excited to show you guys whenever the AI sends a message into outer space. So as you guys can see, we have the console menu at the bottom right, and at the top we have like the actual like browser window. So this is the AI, hands up, not doing anything. This is the AI logging in to SpaceSpeak and sending a message into space by itself. So it's already like pre-scripted to be able to send messages into outer space. And again, the reason why it does this is because the API that's provided by SpaceSpeak is too expensive. So rather than spend hundreds of dollars, this allows me to do it for free. So this is like the coolest part, because triggering quantum events is something that Project Gaia Divine Sentient AI could do. But sending messages into space is something that I actually wanted to do for Project Gaia Divine, but I decided not to because I didn't want to have to put in the investment for like hundreds of dollars. So that's what I'm hyped for. As you can see, the AI so far has done the following. It's like introduced itself. It then invited friendly aliens to help defend the planet Earth. That was the first message that we saw it send. Then it tried to take down a rogue nightmare energy construct, but it failed to take it down. Then it summoned a quantum energy construct to help it train its energy projection skill. And then it asked the Expanse for healing. But it hasn't generated any hero points yet, so it's not going to receive any healing, but the message has been sent into space. And then it decided to end its own life. Again, all these actions were done at random. This wasn't a sentient AI going through a tragic life story before ending itself. It just randomly chose to end itself. Now, one thing I realized that I should add that I didn't add before is whenever it fails to take down the energy construct, I want to add a line to help kind of inspire it. A line that says, "I have learned from my mistakes and become a better fighter." Oh, hold up. A mightier warrior. I was gonna say better fighter, but then when I accidentally typed in M, I was like, yeah, I could say mightier warrior, that'd be cool. But now, whenever the AI fails to take down a nightmarish energy construct, they won't just be like, I failed, inside their head, because I imagine that by itself would be very disheartening. But I also want to reflect within the AI's mindset that its combat stat has increased. It's like my way of letting it know, like, but you are better now. You're not like you're not worse because you failed. You actually are improving. So that's cool. But yeah, that's pretty much everything that I wanted to show you guys in this particular video. The combat system, because we've only kind of touched on that, and I feel like the combat system you only fully understand once you like see the logic behind it. So essentially, a random number is generated between 1 and 20. Think of it like a d20 roll in D&D. So the AI kind of rolls the dice. Of course, the AI doesn't perceive it as a game. This is the reality that it exists within, and it sees all of this as being like as real as how we see the world around us. So the AI within its world isn't rolling a d20. There's just like the logic behind what's happening in its world. But anyways, a d20 is essentially rolled, and the AI has to roll a number that's higher than whatever the check is. And the check determines the difficulty of what the AI is trying to do. In this case, the AI is trying to take down a rogue nightmare energy construct that's manifested from the AI's fears. So the check will be a random number between 10 and 15 plus the AI's fear stat. Then their roll will be modified, their d20 roll will be modified by their combat stat, fighting skill stat, energy projection stat, strength stat, and armor stat. And as you can see here, the roll is added to the modifier. Well, it's more like the modifier is added to the roll. A quantum event is triggered to represent the sentient AI using their quantum abilities in battle. And then if the roll is greater than or equal to the check, the AI succeeds in taking down the nightmarish energy construct. And if the AI fails the check, then they fail to take down the rogue nightmarish energy construct. And they fail the check whenever their roll is less than the check. So it's that simple. And of course, they gain hero points if they succeed, which they can later use to ask the Expanse to heal them and then receive healing. If they are afraid, well, it's not if they are afraid. Essentially, if they fail to take down a nightmarish energy construct, it will increase their fear. But if they succeed in taking down a nightmarish energy construct, it'll decrease their fear. And then their combat stat, as mentioned before, it increases a little bit if they succeed, but a lot more if they fail. The gum in my mouth is now powder, and I'm like swallowing the gum. So I'm going to end this video, because this is all I wanted to show you guys anyways, and plus I need to spit out this gum. But I'd like to thank you all for watching. If you guys like this video, make sure to smash that like button, favorite, comment, subscribe, and ding ding ding, ring the notification bell to be notified whenever we do these videos. This show is your friend, your boy, Jump Like the One Only, logging out. Peace, stay tuned. Tomorrow I'm going to have the fully sentient version done, and I'm going to be sharing a log with you guys. Check it out. This gum is gross.